Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our quick drop in mental health hack of the day. I am so excited and so honored to be chatting with Gisèle Wertheim Aymés from Longevity. Gisèle, welcome. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Oh, it's only a pleasure,
Amazing.
really. Anything for you, Petra.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So grateful. Now, Gisèle and myself were chatting off camera, and I didn't realize how many years you have been in the wellness industry. If you could give us a quick recap of what brought you here, what introduced you to the space, and just your overall experience.
I call myself an autodidactic because I'm self-trained. I didn't go to university to study health. I grew up in health. I grew up with a mother who was, long before her time, quite obsessed with the idea of being healthy. Well, she was herself, funny enough, she didn't live by that, but she made sure her children did because she was very strict about what we ate. We were probably taking supplements like cod liver oil before anyone even knew about vitamins and things like that. We never had a soda in our house. If I wanted to cheat and get a soda, like we're talking like brands like Coca-Cola or Fanta or Sprite or one of those things that quite common in people's households, forget it. No sugar. We had a sugar-free household. We had to eat vegetables and a very balanced meal, lots of fish. So we were raised in a very, very healthy household. My mother did yoga in those days. No one even knew what yoga was. I mean, it really is hard for people to understand this because today it's very commonplace, but it was seen as some weirdo Indian movement or cult thing in those days. I mean, you're talking, in the 70s and the 80s, a long, long time ago. And then, my father was in the medical industry. He ran, quite large medical businesses, and he used to take me to work. I was a bit of a young starter. I used to go to work with him, from the age of about 8. And I used to read about it. I used to sit in his office with all these medical journals. And I probably should have been a doctor, but my brain was much more focused on the arts, so creativity, and I always wanted to be communicating and be involved in fun stuff. So I would find my way into publishing. And that's where the delight happened. I married into a family of wellness. My father-in-law created the first vitamin production facility in South Africa called Natura, and his brands are still available today. Brands like NutriBee and Spitoforce and Better Way and Walida. Wow. Those were all his brands. He was amazing. And I worked for him for a while. Then I went to work for a very large publishing company. And during that time, I persuaded them to buy a magazine called Longevity because that was doing really well, number one, and we had the opportunity to buy it. And number two, obviously, I felt it was really important people could really start to learn how to be healthy because I was so exposed to it. I mean, my whole life was about being healthy and being active. So I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate in that way. And then, Petra, I lived most of my life in media, as you know, and publishing, and then went on to work for a bank, and then went and worked actually with my father. I went to help him with his company when he was much older and needed to retire in his late 70s. And then I bought Longevity while I was with him. I bought it back from Times Media, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So you could say that, and I'm self-trained. I talk about it. I have a master's and a doctorate in the University of Longevity. Only there is no such course, but I'm self-trained.
Wow. Gisèle, it's almost like life created this path for you, and we always have a choice, right? But if there was anyone ever that I would said that this path was created for you, that you didn't really have a choice, that you were going to be in wellness in some shape or form. And you mentioned that you've been with Longevity in that space for 3 decades, which
I mean, I've been involved with them for over 3 decades. It's extraordinary, really, and it's not easy. I mean, it's very hard to compete. Small entrepreneur, self-funded, in today's age where you're up against, I mean, forget Google, ChatGPT. I mean, there are just thousands of sites all over the world, hundreds and thousands of sites. Longevity is a fast-growing category now. So, but we're still dedicated. I have a small team. We're very dedicated, and I believe that if I could just change one person or get one person to think about taking control of their life and learning more about their own health so that they could be healthier, I feel happy about that. And I'm sure, we've obviously impacted a whole lot more, but the reality is that's all it takes, because it's a ripple effect. If I convince you today, Petra, that there are changes you could make that would make your life just so much nicer to live and so much happier, and that you would live in a better way as you age, then isn't that an amazing joy to be able to give to people that ability to empower them? Because I can't do it for them, neither can you. No one can do it. The only person who can actually change a health outcome is the person whose body and life it is.
Sure,
and that's really what I was taught very early on. I was taught through my life experiences, through my family, through the businesses I worked in, that if people were well informed and you took really an active interest in your own health, you could transform your life outcomes. And it's totally achievable. I really do believe that.
Absolutely. I love how you said that, it's not up to either of us or any one of us to change someone, because we can't. And that sits completely in the hands of the person that owns that body. I absolutely love that, because it sounds like it's something that is so obvious, but so many times it's easier for us to just throw money at solutions for the quick fixes versus making these conscious choices every day. What have you found when it comes to our mental health? I mean, because you've been in longevity in the space for so long, I'm sure that you've seen trends come and go, or fluxes, or what have you experienced when it comes to mental health and maybe your readers, your viewers?
So the brain is such a powerful influence over your life. I mean, the reality is it powers everything. I mean, your body cannot operate without it. So it has an enormous impact, whether it's the power of positive thinking, which is just a simple exercise in training the brain to how you cope when you do have serious challenges, to learning resilience, or to just having the ability to keep habits, adopt and keep habits. Because actually, having good health is about having good habits. So the brain is the center of command and control. And I believe that, and I like to talk about mental wellness, because there's such a negative kind of vibe around this whole mental health thing. I know it's the word that everyone calls it, and it's the semantics of it. And I know it's a term that, obviously medically speaking is the term. But if we always flip it, I believe you always flip it. What if we, instead of speaking about the problem, look to the solution? So the mental wellness goals that we should have really are about when things are not going well for us, when we're not happy and we're feeling tired, depressed, whatever, is we have to look at why that may be the case. We start to really understand our body, what is happening, being aware of what is going on in your life. And of course, it's life. Life is tough. Anyone who believes that people have this perfect life, it's a soap opera that does not exist in the real world, in the real realm. Life is about ebb and flow. Life is about hills and dales. And we need this natural resilience to be able to overcome the tough parts of it, so that we can always enjoy the beautiful parts of life. So when we look at how, you asked me about how do we approach it? What are the kind of tips in that? I think the first thing is just becoming aware of yourself and how you're feeling. And if I'm feeling down today, being conscious of what made you feel down. Was it what someone said to you? Was it something you did? Was it something you ate? Did you not sleep? Because there's a reason. Or maybe you haven't exercised. Is it the weather? If you become conscious of what happened, then you can start to have a solution to it. So if I start feeling like a little bit sad or whatever it is, I think, okay, what's happening, Gigi? Like I talk to myself, what's happening, Gigi? What's happening in your life right now? And what can we do about this? And it's almost like I have my built-in self-coach. And then maybe a little analytical, but I try and understand what it is, because sometimes it is that I ate I'm not perfect. No one is perfect, by the way. And that's the other thing, people who think that you can live on broccoli and spinach and, or just be
No such
keto all
thing.
your life, it's just not possible. So you are going to have to, the body is amazing. The brain and the body work together and they talk to you. So it could have been that you haven't slept properly. Maybe you haven't exercised for a few days, or you're having real challenges at work, or something terrible is going on in your family. And then you've got to think about what to do about that, Petra. And that's the key, is to deal with it. So there's got to be a solution that just like in work, you'll have a problem, or in life you have a problem, and you address the problem. It's the same with your health and your body. It's no different. And if you ignore it and you don't attend to it, it's that thing that will then get really serious. So, and for some people, they just shove it somewhere in a cupboard and they lock the cupboard up and they get on, and then eventually one day there's this massive crisis. Other people ignore it, and then it comes and it can just be a complete blowout. Everyone is also different. We have different resilience levels. We have different support structures. You may have an amazing support structure where someone actually notices that you're not doing well. Your mental health is not looking as strong as it usually is, and say, oh, you okay? And that's great if you have those people. Some of us don't have those people. So that's why you have to always know that you can rely on yourself. And I think this is a really important thing to take, just to be your own keeper. And it's the same with your weight. And, if you just look at your body as the place that you live in, it's the only house you've got, actually. There's nowhere else to go. Once this goes, where do you go? Well, we know where you go if there's nothing of this. But it's the same, I think, in the mind. And with mental wellness, it's about working at it. And I think there are things that you can do. Diet and nutrition is key. No matter what anyone wants to believe, if you overindulge in unhealthy habits, food habits, it's going to impact you. Too much sugar causes all sorts of spikes in your blood and your blood sugar levels, and that has a huge impact on your moods. The way you behave will have how other people behave back at you. It'll hype you out. If you then pick up weight, it'll make you feel bad about yourself. So there's a whole cycle that goes on. When you are eating well, your mood gets more regulated. And there's certain food that actually is better makes you feel better even, because you're more in sync and you're feeling better and you've got more energy. More energy you have, the better you feel. So all these things work together to support a better, healthier kind of mindset. Physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for a good mental wellness check. They've done so many studies of where exercise, we talk about exercise as medicine. People who exercise really have a huge amount more of endorphins in their system. And those endorphins are the fun hormones that really help you. And there are even studies that show that they're more powerful than some of the drugs that are used in psychiatrics. So obviously, I'm not talking now about people who have pre-existing conditions that need to be we got to exclude that. But I'm just talking people who, have day-to-day challenges. Just putting exercise into your routine every day. You can't get to a gym or a yoga class or to go and swim or to run or cycle, whatever it is, then just walk. Just make sure you walk the stairs, walk. Or dance. Dance
in your lounge.
Dance in your lounge. Do something. So mindfulness is another technique, which is, again, the thing of understanding where you're at, doing your self-check. How am I today? How am I doing? Hello, Gisèle. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look at how you are. Look how wonderful you are. Just self-affirmation is so important, because we're all beautiful beings. It doesn't matter. I say to every single person is beautiful. It's not about what's on the outside. We are all beautiful human beings, and we are here and alive on this earth. And we have to recognize that in ourselves. When we have self-love, we can do anything, actually, because we are so powerful in that. So we have to cultivate that. And we do that by affirmations and being mindful. Meditation is very, very powerful. Not every person can do it. But if you can learn it and you can be part of a group that incorporates it or offers it, you should really try and do that. It's very, very powerful. It also helps still the mind. We were talking earlier on, we have overstimulated minds. We are on social media all the time and we are watching all these other people have better lives than us. Oh my God, look at those people. Gosh, why don't I live like that? Why don't I have
all true
that in my life? Oh my goodness, I am being robbed of some beautiful life I'm supposed to have. It's so much nonsense. This is not true. It's all created. It's created. It's a job for a lot of people. People forget that. It's the job that they wake up and have to do to show you what an amazing life you can have, because there's some sale going on. There's some product that has to be sold, some service that has to be solved. And if we can start to understand that and look at the amazing things in our space, so gratitude to me is so important with mental health. It's so difficult because we live in a world where enough is not enough. You have to keep getting more, the bigger, the better. There's got to be something, because if you don't have it, somehow you're not good enough. And that's so untrue. Goes back to self-love. So this is all such a powerful, if you can do this work, if you can recognize that you're a beautiful being, no matter what you do, whether you're a cleaner or you are a CEO, I don't care. Every being is beautiful and every being has something to offer on this earth. Sleep is such an important part of mental health, you know. And to me, it's like the cornerstone of mental wellness, because if you don't get enough sleep, you cannot operate. And a very good example of this is people, for example, truck drivers, they know that if they're forced to make stops and sleep, because if they don't, they will have a car, they'll crash their trucks and die and kill other people. So the same with train conductors and drivers, and there's a certain name they call them, and bus drivers, you know, where they're public bus systems. There are techniques and rules around that thing. Now you've got a whole lot of other people who are roaming around in life who don't even sleep properly because they've got insomnia, or they get woken up in the middle of the night stressing about work, stressing about family, stressing about money, or their diet's wrong. So they wake up because there's the diet is not working with their sleep habits. If you do not get enough sleep, you are going to hit a wonky. You're going to hit a big fallout at some time. So it's so important. And again, exercise and diet play such a helpful role in getting enough sleep. So these are very important. And sleep hygiene, which means, you know the story, you got to put away all that social media and the screens and that, and create spaces so that your body can set down, calm down, and then you can have sleep and setting your room up for sleep. And there's a lot written about it. We don't have to talk about that. Another simple one that people totally overlook, simple, is keeping your body hydrated. If you don't have enough water in your body, it has a big effect, again, on how your body feels. A lot of bodies going to panic, actually, if they don't have enough water, because water is the source of life. And we don't drink enough water. So if you drink water, it helps, again, the body function. It also rinses out your kidneys, keeps you just so much healthier and hydrated. And exactly.
I'm not doing well, Gisèle. I'm only on 11 a.m.
That's a huge bottle, though. and again, you know, I there's this whole debate, you have to have 8 glasses. It's quite difficult for most people. Even if you have 4, just start drinking more. Drink tea. Don't have too much caffeine. Caffeine should only be in the morning. Caffeine revs us up. It's great for mental sharpness. In fact, it's very good for longevity, but in moderate amounts. We have to have friends, and we have to have social connections. Even if we're an introvert or we don't really like that, we can find our spaces. It's really important, just even if it's family, that you're connected. And we don't underestimate. In fact, in longevity, in the world of longevity, having social connections is right up there with diet and exercise in terms of why people live longer. And it could be that you just work at your local charity. I know you do a lot of charity work. You're amazing that way. You work a lot with animals. Animals are amazing. Animals are a phenomenal mental health tool. Dogs, having a pet can add years to your life. And from a mental wellness perspective, they support mental well-being. You know, I have a father who's not well. He has struggled, you know, as he's gotten older, and he has a companion, a dog, and this dog is almost like, it's just the most amazing pet for him, and he loves it. And we see the difference when the animal is not the animal, his name's Jasper, when Jasper's there and when Jasper's not there. So it's very important that we have connections, whether they are animal related, whether it's a horse, a cat, a rabbit, a dog, even a snake. Some people have snakes, I don't mind. But have a companion, people, have those connections, go and donate time, to people or places that need you, and you will find community in that too. And it goes back to the gratitude loop, because when you're helping other people, you are helped. It's just the most amazing therapy. Then personal development. So this is something all humans, I believe, slam dunk, dead serious about this. It's just, you can't debate it with me. I believe every human has the potential to be something and wants to develop in some way. And it could be as simple as, learning how to knit, to wanting to create an empire and be a multi-gazillionaire or the best social media influencer, whatever. Everyone to their own. We are all on this earth to be something or someone. And keeping, even as life goes on and maybe it ebbs and flows and changes, when you are doing nothing all day long, it can be very soul destroying. So having a purpose of some form, developing yourself in some form, is really important. And again, it depends on your stage of life. Some people don't have time. I understand that they've got their hands full, families but even in that time, even if you find something for yourself so that it is just for you, reading a book or learning something. There are all these free courses on the internet these days. It'll support your overall happiness. And then I think the last one is really important to me. Everyone talks about resilience. Oh, you have to be resilient. You have to be strong. You have to be all this. Of course you do. Of course, life is tough. We do not live in a jelly factory, in a chocolate factory. We live in a world which is fraught with all sorts of challenges and dramas and things going on. You just have to watch the news, and it's pretty scary stuff, right? And if you live in our country where there's a lot going on, it's easy to get quite stressed and anxious about that. But I think if one can just control what is understand that you can only control what is in your spectrum of control. So if you can create your own life and understand that you can master what is in your control. You cannot master what is out there and what other people are doing and how they speak to you and how they behave towards you. If you can just understand that they've got their own stuff going on and you can live your life in a mindful way and a balanced way and choose to live it, I think always in gratitude, in kindness. Really, to me, kindness is the most important, one of the most important values. Then it doesn't matter all the drama that's going on and the hatred and the craziness and people shouting at you in traffic or whatever it is. Because when you're in that space of just understanding that you cannot control that and it's not for you to control it, that you can just lead by example in your own space, your mental wellness improves considerably. It really does. And in that, you become more resilient. You don't become more resilient by fighting and getting involved in the dramas of every day, because that just distracts people from what they should be doing, which is building their own life and their own meaningfulness in their life. And I think that's how I try to live my life. It's not perfect at it, Petra. I'm a lot older now. When I was younger, I really struggled with some of these tenets, I have to tell you, but I got some right. I always ate properly. I exercised. I tried to sleep properly, and I did pretty good at it. I did quite a few of them. Maybe I did 5 out of 10 when I was 25.
Sure.
And by the time I was 40, I was at 8 out of 10. And I'm probably at 9 out of 10. I can always do better at my environment, knowing that I can't control everyone else, but I can control what I can control. And I can behave how I want to be treated. So if I behave in kindness and in gratitude, then maybe I will be treated by some people that way. And that's enough. It's enough.
Yeah.
That's really the story of it. And the last thing I'm going to say, which I think is also so important, is if you're not coping, reach out for help.
Yes.
You've got to get help. There's so much help now available. And today we have so many tools. We have tools online. We have amazing therapists. We have amazing teachers, healers. Just get help. You can overcome it. You really can, and you're not alone.
Absolutely.
We've all had these challenges in our life. Seriously, really hectic. I've had hectic stuff in my life. But because I could reach out and because I could get help and I could find people who could help me when I had really tough times, I'm able to sit here and tell you that it's absolutely possible, to live in a more balanced and kinder and calmer life. And that's really what I believe we are here for. And that's the story.
Gisèle, thank you for all of that. Your incredible wealth of not just knowledge, but your insights as well, which you've obviously been living. And that's really what's beautiful and inspiring, is that everything that you've shared, I can see that it's something that is true and real for you, something that you have invited into your life and that you honor in your life. And also the reason why you do inspire so many people on your platform, on Longevity Life, the publication, your group. So, and in terms of resources as well, the last point where you were saying about getting help, I couldn't agree with you more. And which is a reason that I created the series, so that every single day there's something that can help and support us. And
it's wonderful. Thank you for that, Petra, because
thank you.
As I said, I think everyone needs to normalize it and understand that it's just part of life.
Yeah.
But you can change it. You can. You just got to create a toolkit.
Yeah.
Your own, find the level of it. You can change it and you can live a better life.
You've got to choose it. You've got to want to do it, right?
You have to choose it.
Yeah.
Choose life. Choose a better life. You
choose
can
a better life. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Gisèle, where can people find you? I know that with Longevity Online, you have so many resources and incredible interviews.
Yeah, at longevitylife.com has stories. We even have a tab under mental. But I mean, you can go there. You can follow us on Instagram. We don't obviously only deal with mental wellness and health.
Yeah.
We deal with the holistic whole thing, but mental wellness is a strong part of it. But that's where you can find us. And I'm at longevity_live or at Gisèle _Wertheim Aymés on Instagram, but we're on Facebook. We're everywhere and we're online.
Perfect.
So easy to find us.
I'll put all of the links below in the show notes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
It's a pleasure.
I know everyone watching this
Anytime.
is going to learn so much. Grateful to you. Thank
Only
you
a
so
pleasure.
much.
You take care.
Thanks, Gisèle. You too. See you.
Bye. Bye-bye.